to reduce our confusion, we will make sure we're not any bit confused on it. I'm going to delete and close this workbook so that's off the scene. And so you can see that we're making some progress. Okay, so this is the sheet as we are now have it ready for to do the next step. So I hope you've got that done. Now what we want in this cell right here is the actual for the year to date. So we need to, the next step I think to get things all sort of set up before we start writing queries is that we need to do something with dates. And so we need prompts. Now let's think about what prompts we need. We need a prompt that will capture the year to date this year. This is year to date this year and year to date last year and the year to date, the entire year. And so I think what we'll do is we'll write 3 prompts. We will spend more time talking about dates and the issues with dates in other videos, but we're going to just, for the sake of clarity, write 3 prompts. One that captures the year to date, the periods that make up the year to date, so we can use it for these 2 columns, the period to make up year to date for last year, and then the entire year, so we have it available to be used where we need it. So we're going to make 3 prompts, and so if we double click there, nothing happens. So up here we go click click, nothing happens. Now for some reason we have to go up here first to prompts, and we add a prompt, and we'll call it current what, and we don't leave any spaces in there, so we'll call it something like current year to date, and we put in an instruction to the user: enter current year to date range. Okay, and so we can put in something like 2007, anything really works, 001, and 207008. And I know some of you probably wondering, why don't I put in 2009, and we're making this report for May, why don't we put in 209005 for May 31st? Well, I'm intentionally not doing that here, so you make sure you have a good understanding of the default. Role of the default is just to sit there like a dummy until we change it to what we want for each time we run the report. And so I want to make sure you have a clear disconnect between what this is doing as far as it relates to the date here. And so I've just grabbed this practically irrelevant range to depict the 8 months of 2007. It's just sitting there as the default of this prompt. And so we go OK, and then we do we add another prompt, and I'll double click here, and you see nothing happens. I don't think nothing happens, but watch, if I come up here and I save my project, okay, and we'll call this the departmental report for videos, so I can keep that straight. Alright, and so now I've saved it, and I come back up here and I go, that still didn't work. That's alright. We come up here and go to prompt, and we add a prompt, and this will be prior YTD. Okay, enter prior year to date. Okay, and to be logically consistent as a modeling, so that the users are presented with something that makes sense to them, I'm going to put 2006-001, okay, and to go through 2006-008. You see, and this is connected to, if this is our default for the current year to range, then this is a logical default for our prior year to date, range, and neither one of them have anything to do with what we really use to run the report. They're just modeling the type of information that is in there. They're modeling it for the user, so the user knows what they're doing. Okay, then we're still not getting anything automatically pop up. That's okay by us. We go to prompts, we add the prompt, okay, and then we add current year, no space, and we go current enter current year range, okay, and logically if we want to build this so the defaults are logically modeling, and so that'd be 2007-001, and the value would go to 2007-012. Okay, and so we have defaults that are logically harmonious, so to speak. And then we need one more prompt. Still not getting it. I'm going to keep trying. I'm optimistic. Prompt, we're going to add it, and that is for the business unit. And so we just call that business unit and enter unit. Okay, and we put a prompt here, and since we are using the ZAD, we'll put that baby in there. It's sort of a nice default. And so now we make this and we can share it to with other people in the SunPlus world. We can move it to other audit clients. We can move it to other organizations, other business units in our other organizations. And don't forget that this business unit is just one value, so there's no range to be involved. And those 4 prompts made, and they're ready for us when it comes to preparing our a little bit bigger. Those 4 prompts are now ready for when we do our queries. Now we have an interesting little thing here, and into one sense you're just going to have to sort of follow along and make sense out of it. But when we do our queries, we are going to write summary links. And so if you just watch for a second, because I'm going to, and it's going to go to that business unit at the top, and that we're going to point to. But I want to show you something real quick here. It is going to give us the ledger as that we want to use, a chance to set that. Well, we didn't talk much about ledger in the past, but the ledger is the ledger in SunPlus, and there's 10 different ledgers that you can use. And as far as I know, only the first 2 are being used by SunPlus organizations. A is the actual, stands for actual data, so your transactions, all your real live day-to-day transactions are all in the A ledger, and in the B ledger is the budget. Okay, so what we want to do is to put across here a capital A, because this column is going to use the A ledger, okay, and this column is going to use the B ledger because it's the budget information, and this column is going to use the A ledger, and this column is going to use the B ledger. And this is following the principle that in our queries we want as much as possible to build things by reference instead of just hardwiring them into the query. Okay, so we're now with that little thing there, you will understand it better as we go along. With that little thing there, we're ready to now start writing a query. We're writing a query that defines cell C12. C12. So everything we do has to do with C12. And this query here will be pulling from this account. It will be pulling from the year-to-date prompts up here, and it will be pulling from this ledger. And so now we're ready to come down and write a query for this cell. Now we're writing a query for cell C12. C12 needs to use this account right here, it needs to use the prompts for the current period. For the period, it needs to use the A ledger. So remember, keep in mind, we're just doing C12. Then when we're done, we'll use cut and paste to get it the rest of all of these other cells populated. So we want a cell that is most capable of being cut and paste. So we'll double click that, and we're writing summary links. Remember, we're wanting one value to come in for this, and so whenever we're wanting just one value, summary link is the most likely answer. One value of transactional information, summary link. So business unit, we come up here. I'm going to try this. It hasn't been working, but I'll try it one more time. We'll put this in here. Let's see, just try it one time. If not, now that is the informal way of doing it, going up and clicking. The formal way is coming here and clicking this field reference, and so we click this, and all of our prompts are right here, and we click that, and so business unit, we go okay, and we have business unit in there, and then the table that we want to use is our ledger, so we're okay with that. And now the table, this is tricky here, so we want to pay close attention. The table is our ledger table, but the particular ledger within the ledger we want to use is a little confusing. And so I've got my highlight right on that, and I'm coming up here, and I want that value, C. I'm working in C12, so I want for all of my C's to be pulling from my A ledger. Okay, so that will be my actual. And then the account code, I want for all of my accounts on this row, I want to pull from this cell right there. And the dollar signs here indicate the same thing they do in Excel. And so it looks like it has guessed correctly that when we copy this, we always want to be in row 7, but we want it to change as far as the column is concerned. And down here, we always wanted to draw from column A, but not be absolute on the row number. So it is guessed correctly. It usually does. The accounting period, okay, hope springs eternal. So I've got my cursor right here, and I'm hoping I can just go right up here and click that, but no luck. And so maybe this is just providential way that you can see the two ways to do it. And so I've got my cursor right there, and I'm wanting the beginning of my year-to-date figure, and that is right in here. Now watch carefully, because there's this little diamond right there that we open, and that is the beginning of the range, and this is the end of the range. And so I'm currently working on the beginning, so I click that, and I go okay, and so I have the beginning of the current year-to-date prompt, and you can see I have the single brackets, and so I put my cursor there and go over here again, and I open it. I actually didn't need to open it last time, but this allows me to pick up the end of my year-to-date prompt. Okay, and if you look at this, you could see that we have the double brackets here, indicating that it is the end of the range that was given. And you can look over here and see that we're building a very reasonable query. The values are being returned exactly the way that we want them to do on every one of these types. All right, and so what we want from after all these filters are applied is that we want the Sun Systems, the Q&A, to return the base amount, the sum of all of the transactions that meet these criteria, that are from this ledger, from the actual ledger, from that account, and for this period only. And so we go okay, and then we're able to now copy this. Okay, if I right click that, I go copy,